Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for joining me today for a buyback rummage video here on the channel. I have a serious lack of time here in the month of May to do anything more creative or time consuming, so I figured I would just take out this box of Topps buyback cards and do a rummage for a few minutes like I've done many times. I know there are quite a few of you out there that enjoy these cards. And joining us for today's rummage is this really nice 2014 Adrian Beltre from the 2017 Rediscover Topps program, the recent Hall of Fame inductee, or at least was voted into the Hall of Fame. Really loved him as a player, even had a short stint in Boston. And so that is one that I picked out on ComC and thought he could join us for today's rummage. We're going to start with a 68 Gene Oliver. I really have a pet peeve for these capless photos, so I think this one does not have really the best odds of making my buyback Franken set, but regardless, we'll see if it makes the cut at card 449. That one was probably picked up just being a Red Sox buyback. Here's another one. Obviously, this was a somewhat recent ComC pickup. You can tell with the receipt. The Elmer Vallo from 1958 Topps with the Dodgers. Love that little 2014 buyback stamp there, that vintage Topps logo. And this is pretty old for a buyback. You don't see too many from the 50s. Really digging this one. Don't remember picking it up, but I've just bought so many of these over the years that that does not surprise me. Let me get a stand here for Elmer. I think he deserves a little airtime in the background there. All right, continuing on. There are some star cards in this box. We'll see if I pull any. In the meantime, here's a Heritage Vic Power. Love that name. And this is about as OC as a 64 Topps card can get. But again, as I say, I think every time I do one of these rummages, you can't be picky with the buybacks, or at least not as picky as you are with standard cards. How about a Bob Barton in action from 72 Topps? This is the Topps original buyback program from 2015, and I love the backwards yellow cap and the police officer here as Barton looks. This looks to me like a fly ball or a pop-up. Just went behind the backstop, and he came to the realization that he won't be able to reach that ball. And it looks like the security guard or a cop is maybe staring up at, what's going on with the ball landing in the stands or something there. So cool shot on that one. How about another 50s one here? Ed Bouchy on the 59 Topps. A beautiful pink color on this card. Again, kind of a mystery guy in the background here. And this one also is from the 2014 Topps buyback program, which is one of the first ones that I collected quite a bit outside of the Topps Heritage buybacks. And a shout out to my many Phillies collecting friends like Joe over at Four Soft Corners. Here's a star player, Dave Concepcion for the Cincinnati Reds when they were the powerhouse team in the middle of the decade there. So this is a cool one to get. A really interesting fielding photograph as well. And you can easily identify this one as a Topps original buyback. That stamp is in a perfect place on the card. That nice dark grass really contrasts that silver stamp. So nice star player there. No Hall of Famers yet other than Beltre, but let's see how we do here. How about Al Ferrara for the Dodgers in the outfield? Again, a Topps Heritage. This is from the 68 Topps release with that burlap design. Next up, cool, Ed Bailey on the 57 Topps set. Now, I've mentioned before, this is pretty cool. We've pulled a 57, a 58, and a 59 in today's rummage. And because this was the first standard-sized Topps set, this is the oldest set that I can get a buyback of, a pack-issued, not a framed large box top or something, but just a pack-issued buyback from these stamping programs that they've done over the last few years. This is as old as it gets and about as cool as it gets. Love this Ed Bailey. And again, I guess random background subject is kind of the theme of today's rummage, in addition to 50s buybacks. So yeah, pretty cool to have pulled a 57, a 58, and a 59 in just a few minutes here. We got another burlap here, Bob Kennedy. And while he is wearing a cap, it is completely blacked out, or blued out, I should say in this case. But he was the manager for the A's for 68. Not much backstory to this one. I'm not intimately familiar with him. But again, I just, when I see these Heritage box topper buybacks in particular at cheap prices, I'm very helpless in the face of those bargains. How about Von Hayes? Random fact, I think he hit a home run on my actual birthday. meaning the day and the year that I was born. I remember looking that up a while back. I don't know if it was for a VR or just my own curiosity, but I wanted to know who had kind of a good day at the plate on the day that I was born. And I believe Von Hayes stuck out to me as kind of that guy. So cool to see that buyback come out of the box. Let's go to the left side. And here's someone who's been in a recent buyback rummage, although a different card. 72 Topps Eddie Casco, manager at the time for the Boston Red Sox. I think I pulled his 71 in buyback format, maybe during the most recent buyback rummage prior to this one. So really nice Red Sox card there on the psychedelic tombstone design, 1972 Topps. Here's a really recent card. So in the same way, we're really seeing kind of the breadth of the buyback program, but in the same way that the 57 Topps was about as old as it gets, this 2015 Johnny Cueto is about as new of a buyback card as you're going to find. This was issued as a buyback in 2017 in the Rediscover Topps program, but it was only a 2015 card initially. So this card was less than 2 years old when Topps bought it back and stamped it and reissued it. So I love that we're seeing cards in the same rummage here as far back as 1957 and as recent as 2015. So let me fix my backdrop here, kind of messed that up a little bit. And then we will continue on with the rummage. We got Dave Moorhead next on the 66 design here with my hometown Red Sox. Will be somewhere around the time this video airs. I will actually be catching a game at Fenway Park. See how that goes. Try to get up to a couple of those or a few of those each season. Here's a cool one, Jim Grant. Really cool. Let's take a look at the back of this card. And yeah, you can see his 1965 season with the Twins, where he won 20 plus games and became a member of the Black Aces, the club, the exclusive club of black pitchers who have won 20 or more games in a season. Great video on that recently. I'm sure you've already seen it by my buddy Hugo over at Signs of the Pastime. If I remember to do it, when I see this, I will link that video below because it's incredibly well done and it's really worth your time to check out. I learned so much from that, and I have a new appreciation when I pull cards of players who are members of that elite club. Plus, look at those sideburns. Like, I think technically you can't have bigger sideburns than that. At some point, it just becomes a beard. So I think Jim Grant here is maxing out on the size of his sideburns. So pretty awesome 1972 card there. That's a couple of those we've seen in the rummage today. Next up, we have a record breaker, Sammy Stewart. He's got a really odd facial expression there. 7 straight strikeouts during his first game in the majors. So that had to feel cool. Imagine that. You work your whole life to make the majors. You get called up, and in your very first start, you have a string of 7 batters in a row that you just sit down. I mean, that's pretty cool. That's a cool record breaker card there. Now let's go like the middle portion of the box here. And this is a multiplayer rookie card here, which was very common in the mid to late 70s. One of them being a Boston Red Sox, Andy Merchant, which is probably why I picked this up. But I love that we have a Montreal Expo here as well. Jerry White, sorry. So that's an interesting one. Kind of a high card number at 594. So I would say there's potentially a shot for this one to get into the Franken set. Let's keep going here. I was hoping we'd pull like one Hall of Famer in this rummage. I think we have, finally. And another guy who keeps appearing in these buyback rummages. I guess I'm really into Dick Williams buyback cards. I mean, obviously he was a long-time and very successful coach for the Red Sox, so it makes sense. But in the last rummage, I think I pulled his 67 and his 69 or 68, 2 different Dick Williams cards in buyback format. And now in today's, I pull his 63 Topps to join that. And this is from a time when he was still playing actively as an infielder, outfielder. So really, really cool Dick Williams buyback there. Even if he doesn't have a hat, that's all right. And then back to the 50s again for this 58 Vic Wertz for the Cleveland Indians. Nice smile there from Vic. And yeah, any buyback from the 50s is going to have at least decent odds to make the binder, I would imagine. So happy to see that one. Do 1 or 2 more here. How about Ellis Burton with the Chicago Cubs on the 64 design? Great shot there. I believe that's the Polo Grounds behind him. Really cool backdrop there of a stadium. And just a classic batting pose there on this Ellis Burton. Card number 269. That's a Heritage buyback, of course. And then let's end it here today. We're just over the 10-minute mark, so we're going to call it at this one. Clay Carroll and Sparky Lyle, the 1972 leading fireman, which is what they still, I think they still use the term, although I don't hear it as much anymore, but it refers to the save leader, basically, for each league. So I think Clay Carroll had 43 saves and Sparky Lyle had 44. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe there's some kind of obscure point system that they use to calculate these that I'm not aware of, but oh yeah, it looks like my answer is right here on the back. So a save is worth 1 point, so is a relief win. And so with those two stats combined, Sparky Lyle paced the AL and Clay Carroll paced the NL. And of course, others have commented on this, including my buddy CW over at Cardwolf, but the facial expression on Clay Carroll at the time was pretty classic. So I love the difference here between the smiling Sparky Lyle at Yankee Stadium and the highly concerned looking Clay Carroll. So that's a wrap for today. The leading fireman ends the rummage, but we saw cards as far back as 1957 and as recent as 2015 in today's rummage. Always a blast going through these boxes. As you can see, plenty more to get to in future buyback rummages here on the channel, but we're going to call it there for today. Thank you for your time. I value it incredibly, and I'm very grateful that you chose to stop by the channel, and I'll be back very soon with some more content. Till then, enjoy the hobby, everybody. See ya.